Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here on this beautiful autumn morning. It is just stunning outside and really warm, whereas inside it's quite frankly freezing. But let's get into today's project. It is Trashcraft Tuesday, and I've been having a play around with some book pages and trying to come up with some kind of unique or different ideas, or ones perhaps that I haven't seen. I have no doubt that they'll be out there somewhere. Someone would have done this, but I haven't seen it. So today's project is a double tuck with matching ephemera. And I'm really excited about it. I hope it's something that you will enjoy. So for this project, I'm using 2 book pages and 1 digital sheet. That's what I'm using. You can use whatever. I am using these book pages here. I'll go over that in a moment. So if you're using different size book pages, which I presume you would, because, you know, unless you've got the same book, then you'll need to work with what size you've got, and you might need more or less book pages to make this project. But this is 9 1/4 inches by 6, just over 6.5 inches, little over 6.5. So that's what I'm working with as my base. So let's have a look at this project. I did do a prototype because, as I said, I was playing around seeing what I could come up with to use some of the massive amount of book pages at my disposal. So in the back we have a journal card, backed for writing space, and that's in the back tuck. In the front tuck we have just a little piece of ephemera. You could write something on it, journal on it, and it's decorated with a label from the Junk Journal Studio. So as well as your base materials of book pages and a digital page, then whatever else you want to decorate your project with. I haven't actually done any decorating on this. Then the other thing in this first tuck is a little fold out tag. So book page base for this, book page base for this. This isn't book page base. You could, but I just backed it onto a scrap of coffee dyed grid paper. And then our tuck here is decorated with a bit of the same digital, and I didn't decorate the back because I thought, you know, leave some of that book page in there and our little pieces. It's not glued down, it's just sitting on the page for demonstration purposes. And then if you put it on a writing page, you can still write around it, or if you put it on to something that's not writable, then it helps cover it. So that is the project, and let's get cracking on it, shall we? Pop that aside. So first off, take 1 book page and we're going to tear from one corner kind of loosely down to wherever you want. I do find it handy to have one of your normal size pages available, so you can just check the sizing that you're happy. You know, you can always tear a bit more off if it's a bit wide or a bit tall. I'm going to this is torn at the top, but I'm going to tear it again just to give it a bit more interest, like so, and ink around it. I am inking. I think I'm going to do this one this way because the other one I did this way. So just to give myself a bit more variety in my, in fact, just looking at that, I don't want that yellow, so it's not going to go with my colours. So I'm just going to tear that bit of yellow off. Now, there's a tiny little bit left. That's okay. We can cope with a tiny little bit. Because yeah, yellow is not a predominant colour in what I'm creating using there in the digital that I'm using today. So do I need to ink around the side? Not sure. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, I will actually. I will need to ink around it. get my braining here. I reckon my brain is a bit cold. You know, like you go out to your car in winter or autumn on a cold morning and it's a little bit sluggish to start. You know, maybe the battery's getting a bit low or something and it's like, oh, is it going to start? It sort of goes, clonk, clonk. And then after a few tries it goes, whee, we're away now. Yeah, I think my brain's a bit like that. It's like, and it's a bit, clonk. Yep, that's me today. Okay, and then we're going to tear another bit. So I'm going to use my ruler so that we have a straight edge, and I'm going to avoid the yellow. I would, I think, like it to be fairly straight though. So I'm just going to line it up on my mat. And line my ruler up and go about there. And take that silly little pointy bit off the top because that's just a bit of nonsense. And that's going to be our second tuck. So again, I'm going to ink around that. So I don't know if we'll have time to get all the ephemera done. I hope so. I want to do the complete project bar decorating. I don't envisage I'll have time to do decorating. But who knows? If I crack on at a good pace, maybe. Won't rule it out entirely. I just know that if my brain's doing a bit of clonking, it may not happen. Okay, so that's how we tuck. Going to be our double tuck there. Easy peasy. Now to decorate this, we need to grab out our digital. Or whatever you want to decorate with. It doesn't have to be a digital. It could be some magazine page or illustration from a book or whatever scrapbook paper. You know, the usual drill. I am using this page. This is out of my kit, A Dancer's Dream, out of the journal page kit. And I just think she's adorable. And I am going to use a corner of this plainer side to decorate my front tuck. So I'm just going to move the other two layers out, or the page and the bigger tuck out the way. Grab out my smaller tuck. Going to line this up on the corner. I'm leaving a bit of a border around, so I'm not covering the entire thing, so there's a bit of a border at the bottom and top. And I'm going to line up those two, top point and bottom point, and I'm going to tear. And I'll show you what happens, because you might think, well, that's not going to work. And it depends how you're covering, whether it works or not. So there we see there's quite a bit overhang, and I don't mind that. And there's a little bit where it ducks kind of in under, and I'm just going to tear out a little bit there. And I think I'll just take that little point off there, just, I don't know, because is a good reason. And I like this bit of book page showing. So let's glue it down. Oh, if I can get the lid off my glue. Goodness, it gives me a workout just getting the lid off my glue sometimes. First time using it today, so it's probably glued itself on a little bit after my weekend crafting. Okay, so pop it on there. And then I like to come in and just dirty up that bit of exposed book page along the edge. And just make it look more incorporated. Okay, so that's that. You could do the same thing with the large tuck spot if you wanted, particularly if there's text on it that you would like to cover up, that you think, you know, you don't really want on your project. I'm just going to leave it as is. I don't mind the text sideways. I think that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to glue this on the bottom and the side, the two straight sides. So we're going well so far. We have almost completed the tuck. And I'm just going to sit it up from the corner. So again, there's a bit of a border on the side and the bottom. I didn't actually do that on the other one, but I do like it as an effect. And you could also go in and kind of just give this a bit of a lighter dirty up. I like it to be different to this, so not as heavy, but just to tone down that white, because it is a white book page that I'm using. It's from 1966, but it's quite white. Old but white. Okay, so there's our tuck spot. And I don't like this little point down the bottom there, so I'm going to whip that off as well. And just give that a little tickle up with the ink. Okay, and when I put it on the page, again, I'm just going to leave that border on the top and bottom, so we get this stepped in effect, which I think is just a lovely little touch. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of my coffee. And we're going to move on to the journal card to go in the back. Oh, someone's car alarm's going off. So the other half of the book page, if you've got enough left, this is what I use to make the journal card. So I'm just going to tear off again. Let's take the time to line it up. In fact, I used my second book page for this last time. Is that going to be big enough? Yeah, it will be big enough. But I am going to use my second page. Sorry, just thinking this through how I did it the first time around. There's a reason why I'm using 2 pages. So we need to allow for our glue line that's going to make it stick up and out further. It's not going to go right into the edge, as you're probably aware. Right, and I'm going to go about, just trying to line it up. It's quite an interesting image, actually. Okay, so that's the basis of our journal card. So now I'm going to take my digital and kind of work out where I want it. I think I'm going to lose one of her hands. So I'm just going to have a look and see which hand would be better to lose if I'm going to lose one. I'm holding it up to the light so I can kind of see. I think that one. Okay, so I'm going to leave space around and I'm going to fold it around to the back. So effectively her hand is going to be on the back. Right, I'm just going to tacky glue this in place. Nice and quick and easy, and it's not going to make my papers curl too much. Just doing 1/2 or 1 segment, so it's going to be in the right position. Hopefully it is in the right position. I didn't double check. Oops, gluing my fingers, that's no help. Because it's being wrapped around onto the back, our digital page, you don't have to be super worried about glue on this side. And it's the back that will actually hold it in place. So I'm going to come in here and trim out the corners. Take out some unnecessary bulk. And 4. And they don't have to be evens because we're going to cover it with writing paper. And I'm just going to pre-fold. Oops. Okay, we've lost her feet. I could have taken it up further. That's okay. I'd rather lose her feet than her head. Right, this I am going to use glue stick. I should have double checked my placement, but never mind. It's all good. We haven't cut them off. They're still there. Just kind of, she's so flexible. She's wrapping around the edge of the journal card. Don't you wish you were that flexible? So there's just her fingers on this side. So we must have most of her hand in then. Flexible feet and flexible fingers. And this side, I feel like I'm cracking along at a fairly good pace. Hopefully I'm not, if you're crafting along, I hope I'm not going too fast for you. You might have to utilize the pause a bit if you need to, or watch it a second time. There's always an option. But yeah, the pause button's there for a very good reason, not just for a bathroom break. Oh, I think she's just so adorable. Love it. Right, so now I need some backing paper. Back it with whatever writing paper of your choice. I didn't grab any out ahead of time, which in hindsight was an oversight. Hindsight, oversight. Let's just go with this bit of coffee dye. Love this grungy edge, but it perhaps doesn't really go with this journal. It's not really a grungy journal. So I'm take off this side first. Oops. Well, that didn't go too successfully, did it? There we go. Oh, look at that. Mess. Trying to do things quickly. And it's working against me. Every time I pick up a bit breaks off. Not helpful. Okay, now I can line it up and trim down this side so I get it, you know, still get a usable strip from that side, so that we're not losing that wonderfully grungy edge. We can find a project for that at some point. Back in the bag it goes. And there is some branding on this piece of paper. It's note paper. So I'm going to take off the bottom branding and the top branding. There, and can use the lines now to, although that doesn't appear to be straight. Oh well, it's alright. And that top branding strip, which will go in the bin. Okay, I think I'm going to find my glue first. Go glue stick in the middle. And then some tacky glue around the edges. Oops, around the edge, not over the edge. So I hope you all had a fantastic weekend, my friends. we had a fairly low-key weekend. We didn't really do anything. We had the fire going all weekend, just burning debris from the woodshed floor. So a lot of bark and wood fragments and what I would equate to dust, really. You know, stuff that's so fine, sawdust, even smaller than sawdust, just accumulated years of wood being put in the woodshed. And it needs to happen because it's, you know, over the years the floor actually raises with all that stuff. The problem with it is it smolders for a while before it actually burns, so it creates a lot of smoke, which isn't ideal. And then it gives a burst of heat when it does burn, and then very quickly burns out, so you're kind of cold again. But anyway, it's a good time of year to be doing it because it's not like, as much as I say it's freezing, it's not really freezing. I just feel the cold. And we have got a load of wood being delivered this week. Yay! It's going to be such a relief to actually have wood to burn. But don't know what day yet. So I'm like really hoping it turns up today or tomorrow, because today and tomorrow are fine. But if it turns up later in the week, it might have to be put away in the rain and it will be colder. So one way to warm up though is to put the wood away in the woodshed. So there's our journal card. I am going to now just clip the corners because I just like the little touch there that it gives, just a little something different. Very much like Rachel at Roxy Creations. She snips the corners, but I've just done a tiny wee snip. Just a little snip. And going to ink around it. After a week or so of not really inking a lot, I am definitely inking this project because I think it just brings everything together. So we've got her hand on this side and it's only just 2 fingers on the other side, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's fine, and I can live with her feet wrapping around onto the back. You can't actually see her feet, just a part of her legs. They're still there, they're just being kept warm under a blanket, under a coffee dyed blanket. Because, you know, dancers need to keep their extremities warm so they can perform. Get a bit more ink on my brush, I think, because I'm just showing it to the ink pad and not actually getting much ink on it. It's a bad habit I've developed, and I've known it for a couple of months now, and yet I still persist in actually not inking it up properly. Right, so there's the journal card, and absolutely can be further decorated, a word, a label, a stamp, you know, whatever you like, but I'm just going to leave it like that, and I think it's really super pretty just like that and tucked in. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm in love. I'm in love. Okay, so for our next one is the double tag, so the fold over tag. So take your other piece of paper from making the journal card, so it's not the one from the tuck spots, this is the tuck spot one, and you may have more or less of it left because of depending where you tore it. So this I'm not going to worry about keeping that image. I thought about it and I was like, no, I just can't keep everything. Let's just use it, hide it, and I'll forget about it very quickly. You know, within a week I'll probably forget all about that image there. Just got a little kink at the bottom there, so I'm going to, I thought I could cut it off, but then my fold would be this way, and that feels uncomfortable to me. I prefer it this way, so it opens that way, not opens that way. It's probably something to do with being right-handed. So I'm going to shape it. Oh, And then I did end up cutting it off. Okay. Forget what I said. It worked. I thought I'd have to open it the opposite way, but no. I told you, my brain's going woo, clonk. Can you hear it clonking? That was a big clonk. Right, and there so we've got our tag. So our digital, we need our digital back again, and find a bit that you would like to use on the front, and I'm bringing it in from the edge, so I'm leaving a border around the edge so we get some of the book page showing. Doesn't matter whether there's anything on that book page or not. It's fine if it's white, which mine is. Trying to get a straight edge there. That'll do. And I'm going to trim at the bottom here, leaving that border. You don't have to leave a border. This is just how I'm doing it. So I'm telling you how I'm doing it, and then you're free to customize it to however you would like. And then the corners, I just line the ruler up, again leaving that space, that border, and then tear off. It's a little bit tricky getting the angles. Sometimes you've got to go in with your scissors, which I'll need to there to tidy up because it doesn't like tearing on the diagonal, particularly at the very pointy end. So yeah, I've got two bits there that just need snipping. Easy as that. Okay. Grab the glue, glue it on, use whatever you want, glue stick or art glitter glue, tacky glue, whatever is your favorite glue. Glue stick is perfectly fine. I'm just going quick and easy and less mess. And then center it back down so you've still got your border all the way around. And that's pretty as it is, but it definitely could use some decoration. It's a lovely background. Oh, the drippy nose has arrived because it's cold. Okay, so the remaining three sides of this, so 1, 2, 3, I do with writing paper. Now you could cover this with one piece, but I think it's kind of fun to use 3 different bits of paper, so each panel has a different color or style of paper. So let's try this for our first panel. Just a bit of paper bag. Yes, we can pretty much fit it on there. It's not quite straight though. Let's tear it to height first, and then it will fit in my guillotine to straighten out that edge. Right. Oh, actually, do I need to? Because it looks like that other side might be straight. No, it's not. Okay, so let's just straighten up this edge. Oh. Yeah, that's better. So again, I leave the borders. And Another way, if you don't want to tear these corners because they can be a little tricky, is you can just use your ruler and fold it up against the ruler. Give it a little crease with your thumbnail and do both sides. Whoops, making sure it hasn't moved on me. Fingernail, and then you can use that crease that you've created to just snip with your scissors if that's easier. So it depends what look you like, whether you want the torn or the cut, and what's easiest for you. Right, give it some glue. And glue it on. Oops. Need to pull it across a little bit. Yeah. Okay, next bit. Got a different bit of digital here. You can use there, or do we want to put this one on the back? Maybe we'll put this one on the back, so the back, when you just flip it over, looks pretty as well, with a bit of colour, but still writable. Slowly whittling these scraps down into smaller and smaller pieces. Eventually they might get used up. Or you could just fold it over if you don't want to use the ruler technique. I like the ruler technique because you can line it up. I find easier, but I'll just show you another way, is you can just fold it back, create a crease, and then cut along that crease. So it's 3 different ways you could go about it. I'm sure there are other ways. It's getting close to lunchtime here. And I'm going out this afternoon. I've been invited out for afternoon tea, so that should be lovely. I don't very often go out to anybody's place during the week. You know, I'm busy working, busy recording videos and doing journal related stuff. So she texted me on, was it Thursday, and asked if I could come for afternoon tea on Monday at 2 o'clock. So then I said yes. If I know ahead of time, then I can kind of arrange my schedule so that it doesn't cost me time that I had put aside for something else. So she gave me several days notice, so I said yes. Should be lovely. And let's go with just a bit of grid paper here. And I can see through it, so I can see, oops, if I don't move it, see where I need to tear, and I can use the line on the grid as well. So that's cool. Torn down a little in height. That little scrap in the bin. Okay, and let's see if this is going to tear nicely. Not too bad actually. Just a tiny little bit that I won't worry about trimming. struggling to pick up the paper with my lack of fingernails. The grid paper is quite thin, so it actually tears not too bad on the diagonal. And because it is thin, I am going to use glue stick, because I think the tacky glue is going to leave a line that will show through. So let's just take out our glue stick for this one. So this project uses up most of your digital and most of your book pages, which I like. So minimal scraps left over. There are some, but minimal. And I think it's good to have a project where you're not left with a whole heap of scraps at the end of it. Okay, that's that. And just to take away from how white that is, just put the lid on this for a moment. I'm not using it. Just run over it with your brush or your sponge or whatever, your ink, just to kind of make it not so stand out, like so. And then I am going to ink all the way around, inside and back and front. Shall I put you through that? Shall I make you watch me ink all around it? What do you reckon? Have a vote. I'll just keep myself busy and find something to do while you vote on whether I ink all the way around on camera or not. So I'll give you a few seconds, you know, throw it out into the air, your feedback, ink or not ink on camera. Have you done it yet? You still need some more time to think? Of course, you know what I'm doing, don't you? It's like by the time I call it closed and your votes are in, it's already done. Not quite. I've almost finished the inside. So that's the inside done. Oh, my nose. Take care of my nose. Little intermission there. So the votes are in and you voted no, do it off camera. Sorry guys, we're almost there. We're just going to keep going. Aren't I naughty? All in good fun, I assure you. Good fun. So one side left to do and we are done. So it doesn't really take that long. I had a thought during the night and it was like, oh, I need to tell my people that. I need to tell them that story. And you know how it goes with things that you think in the middle of the night while you're kind of half asleep and you should really be fully asleep, but you're not. Come morning, you can't remember. All I can remember is that there was something I wanted to tell you. What it was, haven't the foggiest. So there we go. It's all inked round. On the other one, and I think I'll do it on this one, I just took my wee slot punch and punched at the top. Not going to put anything in it because you obviously need to be able to open it up to write in it. But I just think it's quite a cool little feature. So just, and because I've got the punch and, you know, looking for times to use it. It's a little tough to punch through that many layers, but it does it. Oh, where's it gone? I've lost, oh there it is. I lost my page that I was putting under things. It just fell down. And then I'm just coming in and kind of giving a bit of ink around that hole. Like so. And that is the tag done. Again, no decoration. I will do that later. So that's going to sit in there. And then a little decorative piece down the bottom. I think this time I will use book page, or shall I? Maybe not. Could use this. I don't think this is straight though. No, it's not. No stretch of the imagination could that be called straight. about this bit of brown paper. That will do. It doesn't really matter what size, just choose a size that you would like. Just meant to be a mini piece of ephemera to tuck in with the tag in the front tuck spot, just to help decorate your journal and provide a little bit of writing space as well. Write a date or someone's birthday on it, or whatever you like, however you use a journal. And mini ephemera is just cute. I just like it for the cute factor. Oh, we've got a probably pretty close to being square. It is square. It is actually dead on square. That's funny. It was completely accidental. Okay, and grabbing out a piece of our digital, and I'm just going to glue that straight on and then cut it out. Whoops. Just trying to glue it with the lumpy bumpies underneath. This is going to go curly, but that's all right. Trim it out. Yeah, I'm disappointed now. I can't remember what I wanted to tell you all. It's just completely flown the coop. It's my brain's doing another whir clonk. Okay, and then we can, in fact, I think I'm going to give that some snippy corners too. Around it, so it definitely needs decoration, although you could leave it like that and also could be written on that side, but I think you know, some sort of focal point or something would be lovely. It's a very thin piece, this, which is part of the reason I didn't use a book page to back it, because you've got quite a few layers there already, and so a lighter piece is just adds the interest without, you know, blowing out your tuck spot with too much weight, too much thickness. Just got a little overhang there. Trim that off. So decorated up, that will sit in the front tuck spot like so. So we have 3 pieces in our double tuck, and I think that's just so much fun. And all coordinating, so you could make them completely random, you don't have to coordinate them, but I think it's actually really lovely to give that cohesive feel. And often our junk journals are very random, so although the colors might go together, it's not the same papers or the same piece of paper used to repeat your elements on the page. So perhaps an idea if you want to bring a cohesive look to a page. So those need to be decorated up. Now we do have left this bit of book page, and I said that there's not many scraps left at the end of this project. So we have this bit, which could bin, but I'll put it in my collage phone book, and this bit. So that's all we've got left of the digital. Not a lot, you know, we can cope with a small amount of scraps. This, what I'm going to do with this is, again, here on a kind of a diagonal, again, and I need my page for this, and we're going to create a second either tuck spot or pocket, depending how you glue it, but it needs to be no wider than your page, of course. So trim it up to the width that you would like, and I might just trim down a little off that side. So it fits comfortably on your page. And then your second piece, same deal. So I'm going to trim it right against that text there. Doesn't like tearing from that pointy end. And decide which way round you want it. Now you could do the same direction like we did for our tuck spots and have 1 and 2, but I quite like the idea of crisscrossing them over. I think we'll take that down a bit further. And you can overlay them so that the bottom one sticks out more on that side, or you can have it right across. I think just right across is fine. Trim it down on this side. So you can either glue it on all 3 sides and have it as a double pocket, or you can glue it, glue this one here and here and have it as a tuck spot that way, and then glue this one on top and glue it here and here, and it's a tuck spot that way. So tuck spot / pocket. And there we've used up all of the 2 book pages and made a spare tuck spot / pocket, double pocket / tuck spot, whichever you want to call it, or however you want to use it, to put away in your pre-made ephemera stash. You could go ahead and decorate it with the same digital if you wanted to use it up, if there was enough left, or grab out some extra scraps and collage it up. I just thought, you know, why not just go ahead and use up our leftover book page and make something else while we're at it. So these definitely need to be decorated up, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I just want to kind of ink around so you can see how they're sitting, but entirely up to you. You know, there's many ways you could actually arrange them to use them. I think that's just interesting, don't you think? It just gives some interesting little detail. You could even use it as an up tuck. If you did it the other way, you could use it as like an up tuck and a down tuck, or tuck, whatever. Or you could go this way again and do it overlapping that way, so you've got a tuck spot here and a tuck spot here, or just join them together and have one big pocket with interesting torn edges. Like, so many options, and you don't actually have to commit to one of them at this point. You could just leave them separate and clip them together until you decide how you want to use them, or just go ahead and glue them onto a page. I don't want to glue them onto a page because I don't necessarily want them on this page, so I'm just going to pop them with my pre-made ephemera, possibly with a clip-on. Let's do that, just so I kind of remember. And you don't even have to use them together. You could use them on separate pages as separate tucks or pockets. Like, options. I'm providing you with so many options. Aren't I good? No, I'm not. I'm just like having a big work honk moment. So there we go. There is our double tuck with matching ephemera, 3 pieces of ephemera plus our spare, whatever you want to use it as, all ready to go apart from decorating. And this is my prototype one here with the little ephemera piece, the fold out tag, our tuck spot, and our journal card in the back there. This digital, by the way, is I believe, no longer available. It was an antique papery one from many years ago, and I just found it loose in my stash and thought, while I was playing around, coming up with an idea, why not use it and create something pretty to go in my pre-made ephemera. So there we go, guys. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this project and give it a go. I'm really happy with it. I think it's fun and I love the coordinated look. To me, that's it's kind of the aesthetic that really makes my eyes smile, and I hope it does something for your eyes too. Take care, my friends. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.